I'm back doing another video for Dark Girl Chronicles. We in like pandemic month number, I don't even know, 6, 7, I think. I don't know. It's just, it's stretching on. I do not know when the end of this is gonna come. As I had said in my last episode, I was gonna do something on my in-laws, specifically my mother and father-in-law. So yeah, that's gonna be the main thing in this video, this episode, because I'm gonna talk about them finally, and what's been going on there. So also, before we get into the in-laws, I want to talk about what happened after my last video. So all was real quiet on the family front. I mean, it can't help but be quiet because I don't see people. We're in the middle of a pandemic, so there's that. So I just I wasn't expecting anything going on, and I mind my business and stay to myself in this house. And it seems that apparently I missed quite a bit in minding my black ass business, which is exactly what I should be doing in the first place. So apparently at my aunt's funeral, I talked to my cousin, let's call him W, cousin W, who is the son of cousin T. If you recall from my last video, cousin T has 4 kids, okay? Cousin T is also a grandmother, so she has at least 1 grandchild, all right? So apparently, cousin W said, I had asked him about what was going on. How was he doing? Was he all right? I hadn't seen him, and I hadn't seen his girlfriend in quite some time. Last time I saw him was Christmas. This is going to be important in a minute. I saw him at Christmas, and I saw him, I'm trying to think, I think at the funeral, my aunt's funeral in January, okay? Because keep in mind now, in 2020, I've had 2 of my mother's sisters die, okay? 1 died in January, 1 died in May, all right? June, well, the very end of May. So in June, we had the funeral for the one who died at the very end of May. So at this funeral is when I talked to him. Now, I haven't, keep in mind, I haven't seen him since January. And before that, if I didn't see him January, it was December, Christmas, okay? And I saw him, I think, Thanksgiving. I saw him at Thanksgiving. I haven't seen his girlfriend, who we gonna call, because she basically is now a cousin, cousin B. We haven't seen cousin B in, I don't know, probably about a year or so. Okay, I would ask about her when I would see cousin W, because this is his girlfriend. I would see him and I would ask, you know, well, how's cousin B? She all right? She cool? And he would say, yeah, she, you know, visiting her family. Okay. So I didn't think too much of it. So when I saw him in June, on his birthday, mind you, because the funeral was held for my aunt, was held in June on his birthday, which is coincidentally about a week and some change before mine. Okay. So I remarked, I said, well, you know, how is she all right? I mean, so then I found out that he had moved. This should tell you how much I keep up with these people, because this is also important. I keep up with them slightly. I don't spend a whole lot of time with them. I don't see them that often. I don't talk to them that often. If we're both, we're friends on Facebook, and he'll like my stuff on Facebook and Instagram, but Like, I don't stay up in their house. I don't be calling them every week. I don't be all in their face. So I'm trying to understand why it is that apparently I'm mad, and because I'm clueless about the fact that apparently cousin B has been pregnant this entire time. I had no idea. I hadn't seen that girl in probably a year and some change. When I saw cousin W at Thanksgiving, guess what? His girlfriend wasn't with him. She was visiting her family in where they're from. So, and I asked about her. Apparently at that point, she wasn't pregnant. She would have found out she was pregnant probably like right after that. Okay. When I saw him Christmas, I didn't see her Christmas. I didn't see her. Well, again, I hadn't seen this girl in almost a year. I was questioning in June if they was even still together. Because when he moved, he said they were not living together when he moved. And I was like, well, okay. I knew they had been living together before that. So that's why I was like, well, okay, I didn't know what the situation was, and I did not want to speculate because none of my business. So I just said, well, if it's not that serious, maybe, not knowing that she was pregnant, I said, well, maybe you, now is the time, you might want to think about, hey, if she want to come with you to where you've moved to, now would be the time to make that decision whether or not that's what you're going to do or you're not going to do. Okay. He didn't at any point mention that she was pregnant. Nobody mentioned she was pregnant. I haven't seen her whatsoever. So when his mother, my cousin, comes in the family group chat and says, oh, hey, cousin B had the baby. Mama and baby are healthy. They're all right. We're super excited. Here's details. Okay. Cute little baby girl. Absolutely adorable. I was surprised. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that she was, didn't realize she was pregnant. Nobody thought to mention it to me. Cousin D didn't mention it. Her brother is cousin W. She didn't mention it. None of the other siblings. None of them. Nobody mentioned this. So I figured it wasn't important information for me to know. Obviously, you didn't need for me to know that. So I'm like, okay. I didn't know she was pregnant, but congratulations. Kept it moving. I replied in the family chat. I said, well, I didn't realize she was even pregnant. Congratulations though. Glad to hear mama had a good delivery and, mama's safe and baby's safe, especially in these times. And I went on about my business. Didn't think twice about it too much other than really glad that apparently, she's still in the picture and now they have baby. That's new family member. Didn't think too much about it. About 10 minutes later, pops up in the chat, Aunt R. Y'all, when I tell you that I immediately was just like, I just knew this was finna be some fuckery, okay? Because it usually is. It usually is. And given her past histrionics and ridiculous bullshitting, I was already prepared for some foolishness and fuckery to come out of her mouth. And I was not disappointed. Because message pops up and says, well, Lindsay, where have you been for 9 months? And I'm like, first of all, bitch, right there. When somebody say, first of all, bitch, it ain't gonna be good. What's fixing to come after that? First of all, you don't know how much I see them or don't see them. You have no idea. You don't even fucking live here. Why are you commenting on this? Second of all, why are you coming in here and trying to say this in a group chat? Why would you say this? You could have just saw my message and kept it moving. You done already gave your congratulations. Why are you commenting on my message? You could have just kept it moving and minded your damn black ass business, but you didn't. Okay? So when I reply to you, and I reply in general in the chat, I ain't seen them I haven't seen old girl in like a year or so, and I would have no idea that she was pregnant. Nobody mentioned it. Like, so I sent a message back. Now, keep in mind, I was already, because this is also important, I was in the throes of PMS. And I'm going to tell y'all done see me on camera at least once with PMS. And let me tell you, I'm not a pleasant person to be around. I don't take no bullshit to start with. Even without PMS, I ain't about no bullshitting, okay? But I definitely ain't finna be about no bullshitting when I got a fuck ton of hormones coursing through my veins. And I'm already irritated with you as it is, okay? Your ass already on thin ice. So I'm not fucking with you. But then on top of that, now I got all these hormones coursing through my veins and people are just getting on my last nerve. I'm already agitated as it is. Okay. So I'm pretty sure the tone of my message did not come across very nicely, which it was intended to, because mind your fucking business. Okay. So then she sends a message back, and I guess she thought she was being real cute with it because she had an audience in this group chat, because it was like known aunts who are still alive and cousins and whoever else. I don't even know. But I guess she thought she had an audience and she was just going to be cute and make me the butt of the joke. And so that's when she sends back message. She replies, well, don't be mad because you clueless. What? Hold on. Bitch, what? First of all, and so I replied, first of all, I had no idea. So I'm not mad that I'm clueless. I just had no idea and I was expressing as such. This is none of your concern. Apparently, she got mad because I started my message with first of all. She lucky I didn't say, bitch, mind your business, and kept it moving. She lucky I didn't say that. Okay, but I realized she was trying to be cute with it in this group chat because she had an audience. And let me tell you about bullies. And this is the type of person she is. And my mama always said she was too. My mama said this many years ago, and I understood exactly what she was getting at. My mama was like, there are going to be certain people in your life who, for whatever reason, they take you not saying nothing and being quiet about things and just, not dealing with their bullshit. They take that as a reason to or an excuse to bully you. Okay? And they're going to try it. So her message was, don't let people get away with it. If you feel like they coming for you for no discernible reason other than they think they're going to bully you, and because people are teeing it up and silently, complicitly agreeing with this bullshit, that it must be okay. No, you got to remind folks that you ain't nothing to play with. And you got to remind a bully, especially, no, bitch, you ain't, you're not finna do this. I ain't nothing to play with. Get out my face before you get your feelings hurt. Okay? And she said, there gonna be some of your aunties that try to pull this foolishness. And this particular auntie, so she, and as a matter of fact, as I said in the last episode, my mama didn't particularly care for her. That's her sister, but mama was just like, yeah, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. For more than one reason. She was like, yeah, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. So I wasn't surprised when it was her leading the charge with all this bullshitting at the funeral or after the funeral. So I definitely wasn't surprised. It did not take me by surprise at all. So apparently when I sent this message back and I replied, first of all, she decided to want to start hollering about disrespect. And I said, see, you finna make me have to call you out your name. And just come on. You're going to have to make that Columbia color come right on out. Because, see, what you not finna do, you already got on my nerves. Okay? You've already gotten on my nerves to the point where I don't want to talk to you. Okay? But now, you definitely done fucked up. So now, I'm going to have to put my foot down and I'm going to have to say something. So when she came hollering at me about disrespect, she going to send me a side message outside of the chat. I said, see, bitch, you lucky I was fixing to block it, but, I was trying to be decent. I was trying not to do that to family. But some folks, you just, family or not, you can't be nice to them. You got to go ahead and show your ass. So that's what I did. So I replied. It took me about 20, 25 minutes to type up the entire reply that I typed up. But some of the highlights include that she can fuck all the way off and she need to learn how to mind her black ass business and stay out of mine. That's number one. Number two, she's a shit ass aunt because, I'm an aunt. I am someone's aunt. I am at least two people's aunts, okay? I am an aunt to at least two, okay? What I learned over the years in maturing and learning what my place is, first of all, I'm not the parent, okay? I'm not mama. I ain't mama at all. The role of an aunt, as was explained to me by my mom, who was several people, she was the aunt of several people. Your role as auntie is to be in the background. If something should happen to their parent that is, your sibling, you are to step in and provide help and assistance when that child needs it. So it was always stressed to me. That is the role of an aunt. You are not to parent. You are not to be all in the child face and all in the mama and daddy face. That ain't your role. You are to remain in the background for such a time that the child needs guidance, some type of wisdom. If they need somebody just to listen to them, that is your job. And that is what I have done with my siblings' children. And I have let both of them know as recently as June, hey, look him. Auntie is here. I'm here. I'm always here. You have my number. You know where I live at. If you need help, call me. I will come get you. I will come help you. I will do whatever it is you need for me to help. Okay? If you just need somebody to listen to you, Auntie is here. Okay? But Auntie is going to be in the background. Auntie is not a substitute for a parent. Okay? After which a certain point something happens to your parents or something like that. Then I could be, step in and be a help and play the role of a parent. But Auntie ain't got no kids either. So Auntie gonna sit up here and mind her business until such a time you need her. So when I tell you she was a shit ass aunt, at no point when I was going through my separation and eventual divorce did I get a phone call and say, hey bitch, you alright? You cool? You need something? Got no phone call. When mama found out she was sick, wasn't no, hey, I heard you, trying to move back home. Do you need some assistance? You need just, And we ain't even talking about money, okay? Because it ain't never been about money. Ever. It ain't never been about no money. What I mean when I say assistance, I mean, how can I help you? Can I help you? Do you need somebody just to vent to? Because I know this is some shit you're going through. I have been through this myself. This is some shit you're going through. Do you need some assistance with navigating this emotionally? Hey, are you okay? I mean, outwardly, yeah, you may look fine, but that don't mean your inside ain't all fucked up. Do you need help with that? No. Ain't heard not a word about it. Child, the phone didn't ring. Not once. When mama found out she was sick, ain't get no phone call. When mama was dying, because mama slowly died over a period of 3 years, not one time when she saw me at Christmas was there any attempt, hey man, you alright? I know there's a lot of shit you're dealing with. Listen, I know this some shit. And I know what it's like to lose my mother. But do you need, do you need a shoulder to lean on? You need something? Anything? Nah. Ain't get that either. My mama dies. It was, my sister died. And I'm sorry my sister died. No kind of, hey, niece, you need something? Niece, you all right? I mean, your mama who you were exceptionally close to, my sister who you were exceptionally close to, you need some, you need some backup on that? Nah. When I tell y'all, the fields of fucks were barren after. So you want to come holler at me about disrespect, but you can't be bothered to fucking check on me to make sure my shit ain't all messed up. Cause you don't give a shit about me. You ain't never cared. I mean, I can laugh about it right now because I've already made peace with the fact that my aunts don't give a fuck about me. They really don't. They really don't give a fuck about me. The only reason why they even half sort of keep up with me is because I'm literally I'm the spitting image of my mother at this point. I look like the other sister that died that my mother was super close to. And that they were close to. And I kind of got them Nicholson genes coursing through my veins. Kind of got that Nicholson blood there. So, I mean, also I look like they mama. That's the only reason why. Otherwise, child, whew, let me tell you about how they do not give a fuck about me. Never have. All of this is because of who my daddy is. And I had briefly touched on it in the last episode. But the short version is my father was absolutely a shit-tastic human being when it came to my mother and my sibling. Absolutely shit-tastic. When I tell y'all, this man was quite possibly the worst husband and worst father and worst stepfather I have ever known. The depths of his fuckery just knew no bounds. But because I came out looking like him, and I had that last name, my last name wasn't Nicholson, it ain't none of the same as my mama's people. It's just not. It's and look, when I got a divorce, I went back to my maiden name. So the fact that I came out looking just like him and he was already fucking up, this was my problem though. What the child got to do with that? What does the child have to do with the father being absolutely an asshole? Like, I want to know what the child got to do with that. The child don't have nothing to do with that. I've never understood that. It's like, I couldn't be a little child, first of all. I wasn't allowed to be a little child and be, an annoying little child. That just was inconceivable, apparently. And then on top of that, my daddy's foolishness played a huge part in how they treated me. And then on top of that, I was looked at as an extra mouth to feed and a burden on my mama. When my mama was like, I wanted another child. I wanted a second child. As a matter of fact, my mother wanted more than one child. She wanted like 4 kids, at least. She came from a large family. So she wanted a large family herself. So I'm trying to figure out how that second mouth to feed was such a burden and a problem. I'm like, it wasn't a problem for y'all. She managed just fine. She had help. We ain't gonna sit here and say she did it all by herself. She had help. She had a lot of help. But I'm trying to figure out how and why I get to deal with this. Because a lot of it is looking at it like that, and I'm like, but my mama never expressed a problem with having a second child. The person she chose was shitty, but she made that decision. She made that decision. She learned after the fact, yeah, probably not the best choice that I could have made. However, I actually got what I really wanted out of the whole deal in the first place, because this baby was planned. This was a planned child. I was very much a planned child on her part. She was like, I got married in like March, discovered it wasn't legal, got married again in August. Homegirl was pregnant by September, and guess who came in June? It's like, she purposefully got pregnant after she got married. Like, I don't understand why we seem to think that my daddy forced her into whatever and forced her to be, like, I don't understand. So you have a problem with the father, so you're going to take it out on the child? Something ain't right with y'all. But I never got that impression from my grandparents. I never ever got that impression from my granddaddy before he got sick. Because I'm going to tell you, my granddaddy got sick when I was like 5 years old. He had several massive strokes, and that led to dementia. So but I can barely remember granddaddy before he got sick. And I never felt unwanted at my grandparents' house. Never. Ever. My grandmama, despite the fact that my daddy was completely full of shit and treated her daughter horribly, I never felt that my grandma didn't want to, keep me there or have me there or be around me or spend time with me. Or, as a matter of fact, my grandma's house is where I felt safe. I felt like that was the only place I could go where I didn't have somebody being just damn near outright hostile to my very existence. Because between Aunt A and my sibling, you literally have somebody out here acting like your very existence is just a problem. And I'm like, well, goddamn. Really? Like, really? We gonna do this to a child? Okay. All right. So when I got older, and I mean old enough to understand what was going on and be told what was going on and why certain people were acting the way they were, you know, everything started making sense then. Everything started falling into place then, and it started making sense. And I'm going to tell you, children ain't stupid. And I'm going to also tell you, I definitely ain't stupid. And my mama sat me down and gave me an age-appropriate version at every step in life. So that by the time I got to be about, I'd say about 15, she told me the full story of how she met my father. She lived with him and they eloped, basically, right before I was born, in March of 1980. They started seeing each other sometime in 79, I think. 78 or 79. And by March of 1980, they decided to get married. Okay. Welp. Seems that Daddy wasn't divorced from first wife, who I keep up with her. I try to keep up with first wife. We're going to go by numbers because Daddy has been married now 5 times. So, numbers are very easy here to keep up with and identify folks without saying names. So, wife number one, he wasn't divorced from. She is the mother of my 2 siblings. 2 of my siblings. Okay. So, Mama discovers at this point that he'd been married before. He ain't mentioned it. He didn't mention it. Like, how the hell you don't mention a whole ass marriage and 2 kids? So, that should have been her red flag to run. But it wasn't. So, that was March. She told me that they decided to get married again in August. Okay, so they did. They got married August the 14th, 1980. Your girl was pregnant by September. Okay, she got off birth control, which she told me. She said, well, since you on birth control, you know how this works now. I got off birth control, and about 3 to 4 weeks later, I got pregnant. I purposely was getting pregnant. We decided we were going to have a child together. And she relayed to me a very hilariously yet dumb story of how she told my daddy that she was actually pregnant. She said that he wanted her to send him a yellow rose if she was actually pregnant. She was like, man, I just took a damn test and found out. Oh, actually, she said, actually, I missed my period. And then I took a test. And she was like, I was pregnant. She said, I knew exactly when I conceived you. And I was like, oh, gosh. Okay. Thanks, Mom, for that imagery. But, I mean, she knew she was pregnant. My mom apparently was super fertile, too. So, birth control was a must for her. So, she knew as soon as she got off birth control, pregnant. And she was trying. Yeah, she got pregnant. So, she said that she obviously got pregnant in September of 1980. And then 9 months later, guess who showed up? So, and she said she knew she had predicted exactly when I was going to be born, because she said, I counted. And I told the doctor, she said, the doctor said you were supposed to come on the 23rd. My due date with you is the 23rd of June. And she was like, I told the doctor, probably not. Closer, more like the week before, because I knew exactly when I conceived. Like, they were trying, and she was tracking it. So, like, she was like, nah, I figured you were going to be here round about the week before, which would have been the 16th. Guess who arrived on the 16th? She said, I figured probably between the 13th and the 16th. Yep. Sure enough, I showed up on the 16th. She said I was actually trying to come a week early. She had started contractions around about the 9th or so, and then they just stopped. So then she was like, that's interesting. But this baby gonna be here in the next week or so. And she said, and I guessed that you were gonna be a girl because she already knew he had 2 other girls. Apparently, he was out here producing girls. Sure enough. So, that's why I'm like, y'all out here treating me like trash. Y'all treat me like trash because of him. Really? That's fucked up. Okay, on a number of different levels. Then on top of that, I'm apparently not allowed to be an annoying child. I mean, 5-year-olds are gonna 5-year-old. Like, I don't understand. Apparently it's cute for everybody else, but for me it wasn't cute. So it was just like, the fuck is wrong with y'all? But I know what's wrong with them. They got fucked up ideas about children and how to treat children and dealing with children. And I'm like, some of you, which most of you were not mothers, thank God, because y'all would have been awful. And the ones who were mothers are awful. So I was just like, so after my mom explained all of this when I turned 15, I understood my parents' relationship a lot better. My father is a narcissist. My mother was the enabler. Because that's the only way you can explain to me how the hell somebody with that much intelligence, that much common sense, and that good of a person would put up with the bullshit that she put up with dealing with him. So, knowing all of this, and knowing that she kept going back to him, she kept going back, okay? She was wife number 2 and number 4, okay? In between her stints as wife, there was wife number 3 that he left her for, okay? Wife number 3 was aight, but again, I'm like, my daddy must have the magic dick, because he must, because these women be falling all over themselves to marry him and be staying up underneath him. I'm like, damn, daddy, what is the secret to your success? Because you keep women up underneath you. But I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get how you treat folks a certain way and you just, I don't get it. And these women just keep running back to you. I'm like, could that have rubbed off on me? Because I need a little bit of that magic juice. Listen, he got the juice. I do not. Because this is ridiculous. So, once my mom and my dad remarried 25 years after they got a divorce. I was 29 when they remarried. They remarried in 2010. I want to say, 2010. So, yeah, there's that. They remarried after they got a divorce, and wife number 3 died of cancer. Oh, look at that. So I said, damn, you either giving them a divorce or they develop cancer, or both. Damn. You either divorcing them or killing them. Sounds a lot like Henry the VIII. I guess that was Henry the VIII. So when my mom developed cancer and got sick, progressively sick because she was terminally ill, he, I guess, didn't want to deal with that yet again. Because again, wife number 3 developed terminal cancer and slowly died. I guess he just didn't want to have to deal with that again. So he went out and found himself a girlfriend that he spent time with. And I was like, really? That's that bullshit. Okay. So, y'all, it took him probably 2 years. I think 3 years, maybe. 3 years. He remarried. He on wife number 5. And he already doing that foolishness and fuckery, which I detailed in the last episode. Y'all, so when I tell you, I'm 39 years old. It's been 40 years of foolishness and fuckery on my daddy's part. You would think that my family would have figured out on my mama's side by this point, would have figured out, oh hey, maybe it's not the child. Maybe it's not the child. Maybe it's not my sister. Maybe it's her husband. I don't know. Maybe we should put some critical thinking skills to this and realize that if he was awful to her as a husband, he was awful to the child's sibling as a stepfather, you know, he was probably shit as a father to the child. Probably. Go ahead and surmise. He was probably shitty to the child. You know, maybe we should, as the child's aunt, maybe we should be there just in case in the background, encouraging the child and letting the child know that it's not the child's fault. Maybe that would be the right thing to do. Oh, wait, that's right. We don't do the right thing here because the right thing requires us to actually be good people. So no, instead, we're going to treat the child with contempt. Contempt and straight up hostility. I can remember just feeling awful as a child. I couldn't be happy as a child and be excited to see my cousins or see my aunts. None of that. I just remember just being angry all the time that my cousins were just loved on and lauded and oh, they're wonderful and oh, they, you know, all this praise and effusive praise at that. And then they got to me and it was like, oh, it's you. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? The fuck? Oh, okay. Like, I just remember feeling awful and asking my mama, why don't they like me? No little child should have to ask that. And my mom, of course, is sitting there like, it's not you, baby. But if you don't tell the child what's going on, the child is going to be like, well, listen, mama said it ain't me, but I seem to be the common denominator here as to why these people are acting like this all the time. Like, my sibling who lived with me literally treated me as if I had some type of, like I was a leper or something, like I had leprosy or something. It was like, first of all, I really don't want a sister. And even, okay, so fine, I got to deal with you. You know, you exist. But that don't mean I got to deal with you. It was, I mean, it was literally barely thinly disguised hostility and contempt. And I can't imagine if the tables were turned that I would have treated him that way. I wouldn't have. And I told him as such. He was like, you don't know that. Yes, the fuck I do. I know what kind of person I am. I would not have treated my sibling with just barely disguised contempt. Like, it was like, why do you even like, I could be in another part of the house breathing and he would be like, you could just see him just be like, the whole time just making that face. And I'm like, damn, like, the fuck is wrong with him? Like, when he got married, I remember this. When he got married, I remember we went for Thanksgiving. We went and, because he got married at Thanksgiving in 1991 or 92. 92. And so we went and, I remember we went up to Aunt R's house. We stayed at Aunt R's house for Thanksgiving. And I remember going to the wedding and just being so excited. And I'm like, oh, my brother's getting married. And, oh, this is wonderful. I'd met his now ex-wife. And, you know, I was like, oh, that's cool. My brother has a girlfriend. And, oh, they're getting married. This is a big deal. So excited. And he just kind of gave me that look like, first of all, why are you even here? Mama, why did you even bring her with you? Kind of. I'm like, hold on, bruh. Like, literally. Hold on, bruh. Like, I just remember just being like, I don't like this person at all. Don't really like this person. But I got somebody else over here who's like, no, you don't have to necessarily like them, but they're your family. You need to get along with them. You need to respect them. You need to, because he's older than you, respect your elders. And respect your aunts, because they are the family that you know. They are the family that you have. Meanwhile, I'm just like, but mama, these people really don't like me. Like, I went to hug my Aunt A one time, and she was just like, don't touch me. I'm like, whoa. I had to have been like 15, 14, 15. I was like, what? And I remember she did this. It was at my grandmother's house. Actually, it was when my grandmother died. I had to have been about 14. I remember sitting in my grandmother's bedroom. And she was so rude. Rude ain't even the word. It was like, and I realized she's not really a hugger. She's really not. Okay, I get that part. I'm not really a hugger too much now as an adult because personal space. I don't want anybody all in my face. And I don't want anybody touching me that I don't particularly like or know. So I'm very, I don't like people. So yeah, I can understand that. I completely understood that part. But it was how she said it. And it was just like, well goddamn. Like, well, I mean, it was just rude. It was outright rude. And I remember saying after that, never again. I think to date, I may have hugged her once. Once. I can count on how many times I've actually told her that I loved her. And it has never been unprompted. Never. She has always said it first. I will never, ever, ever go out of my way and say it first. Because every time I remember being a little child and telling her that I loved her, and she just kind of looked at me like, right. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. Never again. Woo, let's talk about how we not going to ever do that again. So, yeah, no, yeah. I don't. But see, that situation resolved itself because, like I say, when you start losing family members and you start realizing who is left, okay, them people that you kicked a long time ago, that dog that you kept kicking in the yard and telling the dog to get off you and leave you alone. You don't want to be bothered with the dog. And who animal is this? Get your animal. Your animal is out here acting a fool. Get your animal. And then you kick the dog one time too many, and guess what the dog gonna do after that? The dog just gonna, whenever you, oh look, it's the dog. Oh, the dog is so, The dog literally just sitting there looking at you like, no. That's literally what the dog is. No. The dog has no type of connection to you whatsoever. The dog don't care about you at this point because you done kicked it one time too many. Meanwhile, the dog you running behind over there done bit you one time too many. Like, so now the dog that you kicked, you want to be all up in that dog's face. Oh, okay, all right. Never mind. So I don't know. I told her, she said she was done. And I said, okay, well, you be done then. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. But stay the hell away from me and leave me alone. Because what you ain't finna do is sit up here and try to bully me. And then when I clap back at you and I let you know your shit ain't worth a damn, and you can kiss my fat black ass, oh, now all of a sudden you want to talk about some disrespect. Okay, well, fuck you. Like, you ain't no loss. You ain't no loss whatsoever. I've lost absolutely nothing. And oh, by the way, Brandon has many an aunt that can replace you. Okay, they done about as much in, I don't know how long Brandon and I've been together. 7 years. 7 years. They done about as much in 7 years as you done in 39. So, not a loss. And I can go ahead and tell you now, and if any of them watching, if at any point y'all decide, okay, well, she can't come to the house, all right. Like, that's not a loss to me. It's not. It's not a loss to me. I have other family. Y'all act like y'all the only ones. Like, there's people down in Charleston I can go call if I really want to. So it ain't like I'm absolutely dependent on y'all. Like, and like I say, Brandon has enough aunts. Every single one of his uncles is married. And I know all of their wives. And they all have been wonderful aunts in the short time since I've basically married into the family. They basically have been wonderful aunts. Oh my God, I don't have to hear nitpicking and criticism that is unwarranted. You would think by the way my aunts carry on my mama's side, you would swear up and down, I robbed a bank, I done killed somebody, I done popped out 8 billion kids that I can't take care of. I can't take care of myself. I let her die. You would, if you heard these people talk, you would swear up and down that I am just the most terrible person on the face of this earth. I ain't got not a nary bit of sense. I can't think for myself. I'm wholly dependent on a man. And oh my God, like, I don't even know how I put 2 feet on the floor without killing myself every day. That's what you would think based on hearing them talk. Meanwhile, I've never been in any trouble. I have no children because, can't make them. I've only been married twice. And, I'm tending my black ass business. Oh, and I'm highly educated. So that's why I'm like, okay, so what's the problem here? What is the problem here? But nobody can give you a straight answer on that because they don't have an answer, because they know it's some bullshit and some foolishness and some fuckery. My point made. So, after I sent that text, I texted my cousin, and I said, get your mama, because your mama wilding. Your mama's out here wilding. And she finna get her feelings hurt. And I let her know the reason why your other nephew don't come home is because don't nobody want to deal with your bullshit. Don't nobody want to deal with you. And don't nobody want to hear that mouth. Because you stay running your mouth and being reckless with your mouth. And don't nobody want to have to deal with that. Like, go sit down. Because you're getting on my nerves. I hate it here. It's ghetto. Like, just go sit down. Because you're doing the most. You stay doing the most on top of that. So, no. Don't nobody want to deal with that. And, oh, by the way, I told her exactly why I don't fuck with my brother. Oh, and on top of that, I let her also know he don't really care about you. You think he does. You out here running behind somebody that don't care about you. Because he really don't care. He does not. He has told me numerous times he does not give a fuck about any of these people. Okay? It turns out, in me included, but he don't give a fuck about none of these people. So, that's why I'm like, y'all out here caping up for a man who really don't give a shit about y'all. He really don't care about you at all. But you steady caping up for him. Alright, well, you know what? Go down there and find out what's wrong with him. And let folks know what's wrong with him exactly when you do find out. Because I already know. And I don't particularly care. Not my problem. I wash my hands of it. So, that was that with her. And I said, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. You will not be missed. So, I don't know. I guess that was, I don't know if she read it or not, but I guess that was, I guess that was enough said on that. And I said, and that's that. It's like, so, because my main thing with my Aunt A was, all right, now, you're going to be the self-styled matriarch here of the family. By default, you're going to assume this role. Don't be out here acting like you so put upon. You the one in charge now. You keeping things together. You best go get your Sonny, and you best go get your Fredo. Because Sonny finna get you all messed up and finna get shot up out there in front of the toll booth if you're gonna be the Don Corleone. Okay? You need to go get him. Because he finna mess you up. He keep running his mouth and he being reckless. Listen. You best go get your Sonny. And you got a Fredo and you missed. So I suggest you keep up with that too. Because Fredo finna fuck up all your shit. Like, that. So, I said, I told Brandon what I said, and he was like, yeah. I mean, and also, because I also put in that message too. I was like, you stay out here running your mouth about my relationship with Brandon. You don't even know the whole story. You have no earthly idea what's going on there. I said, not only was Brandon my friend well before I started a relationship with him, but Brandon has been an excellent friend and an excellent partner. He has been excellent. I mean, give or take sometimes he do some foolishness, but for the most part, I would say 95% of the time, hell, probably 98% of the time, Brandon is an excellent partner. Okay? He and I get along really well. And the times that we don't get along, we tend to work that out. Like, we work it out. It's not an issue after that. We tend to talk things out, and there might be some yelling and some arguing there for a minute, but I don't know no couple that don't yell and argue at some point. If y'all don't argue, something wrong with you. So, now you shouldn't be out here fist fighting and carrying on and doing all this, and it shouldn't be all the time. But, because that means y'all just don't need to be together. But in this case, nah, we get along really well because we were best friends before we started dating. We were. And we got along just fine. Even then, we got along very, very, very well. And from day one, that even when he was just my friend, when I told him what was going on, and he saw firsthand what was going on with my mama being sick and my marriage falling apart, like, he was even friends with my ex-husband. So, or at least he tried to be. So, I fail to understand how we gonna sit up here and talk this shit about somebody who has done nothing wrong. As a matter of fact, I said, he still loves y'all. He loves y'all despite the fact that he sees how you treat me. He tries to be helpful. He is involved in our family. He comes to every event that he can come to. Like, he couldn't come to my Aunt Vanessa's funeral because he had to work. It was kind of sudden. He couldn't very well be like, oh, I need to be off. And it was understood. Not only that, he came after. He came over to the house after. He was friendly with her. She liked him. If she wasn't, she wouldn't have told me that she was looking forward to our wedding. So it was like, where is this coming from? No, you have a problem with him. You have an issue with him, and you have an issue with me. It ain't that you have an issue with our relationship, because you don't know enough about the relationship to have an issue. You ain't in the relationship with me. You're not in a relationship with him. You're not in my marriage, okay? Even my mama wasn't in my marriage before it became a marriage. But you're not in a relationship with him or I. So you don't know enough about it to know whether or not he's good for me or not. You don't know enough about that. You don't even see us that often to know that. You ain't spent no time around us. And I noticed very subtly Aunt A was trying to steer her away from that, because she was like, actually, he's been wonderful. and I said too, I said, Brandon has been exceptionally respectful, polite. If Aunt A needs something done, or she needs me to come over there and do something, or bring something, or whatever, she immediately knows that either if I can't do it right then, Brandon gonna do it. And he ain't got to do that. These ain't his aunts. Like, none of them are his aunts. He has been nothing but good. And again, has accepted them and refers to them as his aunts. No questions asked. But y'all gonna sit up here and shit on the man. Oh, okay. All right. Bet. So I bet you he won't be nice after that. Because I told him, if I was you, I'd be like, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you definitely. Because you ain't shit for that. I've done nothing but be good to that woman. Like, I said, you too nice, because I sure would have done cussed her out. I'd have cussed her out that day. Because you ain't finna talk about me and sit up here and tell my spouse, okay? You ain't finna sit up here and tell my spouse of a number of years, fuck him. Oh, no. You ain't finna do, You ain't finna talk about me or to me any kind of damn way. Because she tried it. And I was like, so, then there was the stuff with my mother and father-in-law. Now, I've mentioned both of them in previous episodes. I have talked about them in previous episodes. We got along just fine at first. But you see, some folks, there's several things going on here. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that Brandon has some challenges. I'm not going to disclose his challenges because that's violating his medical rights and all, and his medical privacy. And again, we mind our business and we don't disclose other folks' business. But just know that Brandon has a few challenges. And while they do not keep him from functioning, as a matter of fact, Brandon is very, very normal. If you want to call it that, let's give it a label and say normal. You wouldn't even know unless you got to know him. And I mean really got to know him. And given that I have known Brandon for 25 years at this point, the anniversary of which just came up the other day, at the end of August, we met on like the first or second day of school at in 1995, so it's been 25 years. If you didn't know any better, if he didn't tell you, you wouldn't know any better. But Brandon is very, very much a normal functioning adult man. Just that he has some known challenges to those around him, and sometimes it does present some issues. However, he tackles those things head on, and he does not let them define him, and he does not let them define his life and the things that he chooses to do and the things that he chooses to care about and his hobbies and things like that. He don't let that define him, and it is one of the many reasons why I love him very much. He's just, I mean, he's a good person too. On top of it, he's a very good person, but he does not let that be a limitation. He knows his limitations, and he'll tell you he knows his limitations, and he'll learn them as he goes. But one of the things is he does not let those challenges control him and what he does. So when I tell you, when I sit up here and I tell you that he has challenges, and Mama and Daddy also know that he has challenges, given that he is their child, Mom and Daddy also like to use the challenges as an excuse to be controlling and ridiculous most of the time. I didn't realize until I made that video, and this started many years ago. If you recall, I made a video in November, the end of November, beginning of December, called The House Always Wins. And that was November the 1st, I think, 2013. Way back in season 2, I think it was. Okay. That episode, I talked about the fact that Mama was out here asking questions that Mama didn't want to answer to. Now, that was at the very beginning of our relationship. We had been together maybe 6 months at that point. Okay. We've now been together almost 8 years. Okay. You would think that by now, Mama would have realized it's probably not a smart idea to progressively escalate our behavior to the point that our future daughter-in-law is out here looking at a subreddit about batshit crazy mother-in-laws. Okay? We shouldn't be doing these things. Common sense would tell us that we should probably not do these things. No. Where there's common sense, we tend to be smart about things. I liked her up until a point. And I liked his father up until a point. And I can tell you, I liked his father way more than I liked his mother. And then I realized Mama has a savior complex. Mama feels that we have got to save Brandon. We've got to remind him to do everything, because this is what we've always done. And wife over here be damned. First of all, we don't even consider her his wife, even though they consider themselves married. They consider themselves common law married. We have been common law married for 5 years. 5, y'all. 5. 5 years. Okay? We have considered ourselves common law married since May of 2015 when we moved in together. We established that we were domestic partners and common law married. Okay? Because in our state, they got rid of common law marriage. But if you considered yourself common law before they got rid of it, you're considered common law. Okay? So I would have to get a divorce again in order to untangle myself from him if I so chose to. Okay? I would have to go to court probably. Not that we are planning to do that at all. But when I tell you, that's the level of seriousness of which we are accustomed to here. We at that level now, okay? We actually, and we consider ourselves life partners at this point. Like, I'm not going to go marry someone else. He's not either. We're not, there is no, this is a till death do you part type of thing, okay? Piece of paper or no. We are life partners. If you asked him, if I got him on camera right now, and he said, and I asked, what do you consider me to be to you? He would say, my wife. Like, I don't, and we would actually be married at this point if not for crazy ass pandemic that's going on outside. So, I mean, we would have been married now for about 5 months, 4 months, 5 months. Name change and all. So I don't understand this reluctance to acknowledge that. But okay. Actually, I do understand it because we're going to get to that in a minute. So this entire time, y'all, it's been a lot of microaggressions. Little silly stuff. A lot of what I like to call whataboutism. Because there's a lot of, well, what about? Well, what about this? And what about job? Okay, well, he got another job. It's a better one. It pays better. Okay, so we took care of that. Well, what about this car? Okay, well, wait a minute. Hold on. The car been fucking up for 4 years. Okay, the car is now 12 years old. The car been fucking up for at least 4 years. You only concerned about the car until it's time to be putting money aside for the wedding. Now you want to come talk about, well, what about a car? See, you didn't think nobody was going to pay attention to that. Okay. Also, I said, it's mighty funny how all of a sudden the car is a problem the closer we get to this wedding, when it wasn't too much of a problem when he was squiring you around town doing whatever foolish errand you had to go do. And that wasn't a problem then. But now all of a sudden, because we're getting closer to the wedding, now all of a sudden, well, he needs another car. So he need to, well, if you wasn't paying for this wedding, you could get you a car. No, ma'am. Shut your ass up. Shut your ass up. Because you wasn't ready. No. You wasn't right for that. Then there was the wedding stuff. Oh, that was even better. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. Before this, there was the stuff about the house. Because, again, see, we getting this shit from all sides. We're getting it from my family because they really want to move Auntie R into this house. Okay. So, well, you need to be thinking about getting another house. No, we don't need to think about that. This is a paid for house. Absolutely not. The only way that Auntie R gonna get in this house, Auntie R is not only gonna have to pay me for half the value of the house, okay, my half of the house, but she's also gonna have to pay me for the improvements made on this house by myself and my mother over a period of 20 years. So if she can come up with that kind of cash, which I figure is around about $40,000 or so, then we might have a deal. We might think about it then. but you ain't coming in here for free. not the day you won't. You ain't coming in here for free. So somebody gonna come out their pocket. So there was that. Then all of a sudden, well, I was gonna give you your grandmother's house when y'all got married. This was from his mother. And I said, he don't need the house. That was the look she gave me. She cut her eyes at me real quick. Thought I didn't notice. And she said, well, do you own this one? Well, as a matter of fact, I do. I said, yes, as a matter of fact, my name is on the deed, sweetheart. Oh, I didn't realize. No, why would you? That ain't none of your business. Ain't none of your business who name on the deed to this house. It ain't yours. So what you need to know that for? She was under the impression, because I mentioned, I said, at the time, my daddy was living next door. He was renting a house next door after he got kicked out of here when my mama died. And Brandon moved in with me, which was, by the way, Brandon's choice to do. Brandon was the one who mentioned it in December of 2013 when I made that video about his visit. He stood in my bathroom of my apartment that I formerly shared with my former spouse and asked me, well, what do you think about us possibly moving in together? Excuse me, sir? Moving in together? What do you mean? And he said, well, eventually, I was thinking, we could live together. And I said, oh, okay, well, maybe down the road. I was like, that's not going to happen anytime soon. My mama's still alive. And we literally have to wait for her to die before I could move in with you. Like, the whole point is for me to move home and move in with her and take care of her. That was the deal. And I knew I was going to in a couple of months anyway, like 2 months. And I literally did. That was in December of 2013. I moved home March of 2014, which you guys saw. That was also in that same season where we did the boyfriend tag. We started the boyfriend tag. And it was St. Patrick's Day, or somewhere around St. Patrick's Day in 2014. So we had talked about it. The key here is that we had talked about it. And so I said to his mother, I said, well, I half own this house. My aunt owns the other half. My mother left it to me, and I paid it off. My daddy lives next door because he's renting. He don't own nothing over here. This house has never, ever been owned by him. Ever. And I've briefly explained. My Aunt Jean owned it first. She had us come stay with her when we needed a place to go. She split the house in half, ownership in half. One to Aunt A, one to my mother. Okay. That was so it would stay in the family. So when my mother realized that she was dying, she started getting her affairs in order. She told Aunt A, oh, hey, by the way, I'm going to leave my half of the house to my daughter. Because my daughter, if I leave it to him, she going to be out on the street. He's going to screw this up. So she gets it. She's responsible. She can do it. And that is how that came to be. Then it was major cat butt face. And oh, that was all she had to say after that. Oh, she still hates the fact that we live together. I'm like, girl, you need to get over it. It's been 5 years. Fuck you. Okay. So I'm like, man, if you don't grow up and get the fuck over it. Silly ass. So There was that. Then there was the actual wedding planning. Oh, that was fun. So she tried to foist some centerpieces on me. First of all, before she even did the centerpieces, I asked her, knowing the situation that my mama is gone, so the mother of the bride is out right there, okay? The mother of the groom tends to not do a damn thing except host the rehearsal dinner. I'm well versed in wedding planning at this point because wedding planning. And I'm doing it myself, plus I have a planner who is going to be my day of coordinator. And you can see all of this in my other series called Dark Girl Gets Married. Okay. Which is, it's currently on hiatus right now because pandemic and wedding planning is on hold because we don't know when we're going to get married. When we actually are going to do this. It's just postponed, not canceled. So I said, well, you know, knowing that the mother of the groom doesn't do anything other than host that rehearsal dinner, and I didn't know if I wanted a rehearsal dinner anyway, I said, well, you know, I would love it if you would help me plan the wedding because, one, you're good at planning. I didn't say this, but this was my reasoning for asking. She's good at planning. She's actually very good at that, despite the fact that she too has some challenges. And planning, you would think planning, not long-term planning, is not their strong suit with this challenge. And but she's fantastic at it. And on top of that, she has contacts. Okay? She knows people who know people, okay, that can provide some type of help. So I said, knowing all of this, I said to her, I said, well, I would love it if you would help plan. That was like, you know, I learned my lesson about being nice to some people. Because the response was, and I quote, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. You should ask your aunts, though. And the first thing I thought was, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? I asked you specifically. I wasn't asking my aunts. Don't you think I would have gone to them first before I came to your ass? Like, why would you think I won't come to you first? I don't even like you that much. Like, you irritate the shit out of me. But I was trying to be nice, okay? And I was trying to include her as a way to develop the relationship just a tad bit better. Just a tad. Because I was like, she ain't got a daughter. She's got a son. The mother of the groom don't do shit. So I said, well, what better way to get her involved? She's not going to have this experience. She's not going to as a mother of a bride. So I said, why not try to include her and get her involved and have her help and get her expertise and you know, make her feel included and like she's a part of things and that she is in fact important. Child. Like, I was like, oh my God, I should not have asked you. So, and it was the way she said it. It was real snotty. It was super snotty and condescending. Like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. I was like, oh, okay, all right. You ain't got to tell me twice. Took my business elsewhere. As a matter of fact, the next week, went and got my little card from my planner. Because we had met her earlier in the, I want to say that was earlier in the year. I had met her at a bridal show. She came highly recommended by my venue because they're all friends. And she said, you're going to need to talk to her. One, she's really good at it. And two, you're not needing as much as, say, a large-scale bride would need. You just need day of stuff and a little bit of help getting things together. She's your person. You need to go down there and talk to her. And I instantly had a connection with my planner. I love you, Miss Sandra. I do. I love her to death. She is wonderful, super nice, and very professional. I really, really like her. We get along very well, and she indulges me, but she also does exactly what I want my planner to do, which is, hey, this is going to cost you X, Y, and Z. Okay, I can get it for you for cheap, but this is what this going to cost you. You decide whether or not you want to spend the money on that. Okay, and hey, man, I don't know if that idea going to work. You might not want to do that. You might want to stop now before you go down that path, spend money on it, and then realize it's not going to work. That's what I want my planner to do. And I would not have gotten that with his mother. His mother would have had me out here doing stupid shit. So, and spending a ridiculous amount of money and trying to be controlling on top of it. So no, absolutely not. So I said, okay, you ain't got to tell me twice. Apparently she was miffed. And I've reasoned, and I told Brandon, and I said, I do believe the reason why she was miffed was she wanted me to beg her to be involved and do this and ask more than once. No, I'm not going to do that. No, baby, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. I don't ask more than once. If I have to ask you something and I request your help and I request your presence and I ask you nicely, and on top of that, I'm prepared to make it worth your while, and you tell me no, guess what I won't do again. So I did not. So she was miffed about that. So then a couple of months later, here she come. Now me and the planner been setting aside money. We done got everything together. We starting to get all the plans together. We getting everything ready to go. Here she come. Well, you know, I got these goblets. So y'all already know. Y'all already know. She was already fucking up. So I was like, okay, we'll send the picture over. Let me see what they look like. Months go by. Still don't hear nothing from her about these damn goblets. She done already bugged me about 3 times. So then she finally sends me the picture of the goblets months after the fact. And I'm like, girl, we done already decided that what we gonna do for these. All right. I'm entertaining this bullshit because I'm being nice. So then she sends it over. I send it to my planner and I said, maybe we can do something with these goblets. And they were literally wine goblets. You could have made a centerpiece out of them, but it would have been difficult. Okay, but you could come up with something. So then I said, well, I texted her back and I said, well, let me see what I want to do. Let me talk to my planner, you know, the one I hired after you told me no. I didn't say that part, but that's what I was thinking. I said, well, let me talk to my planner, find out what we gonna do. See if maybe she got some ideas. Maybe we can make this work. I'll let you know shortly. I did. I talked to my planner and I said, you know, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these goblets. I don't think I don't think we're going to do that with the goblets. So I texted my mother-in-law back and I said, I don't think we're going to, I don't think we're going to use the goblets. But thank you anyway. Appreciate it. Left it at that. Kept it moving. Here she come again. She sends, so after I tell her this, she sends Brandon, she tells Brandon to come over to the house after church. Okay, this is before pandemic foolishness. She tells Brandon to come over to the house after church. She's got something to give him. So I already knew. As soon as he told me, well, my mama said, you know, I should come over to the house after church. I said, this bitch. I already knew. So I said, okay. I just kind of made that face. Like the whole time I was just like, oh my God. So he comes back. Now I already told her no. Keep in mind, I've already told her no about these damn goblets. Go ahead and guess what Brandon came back to my house with. Oh, and I told her, also this is important. I told her, and he and I agreed, I don't want to use these goblets because several reasons. One, they belong to, as she told me, well, these goblets, they belong to, you know, my alma mater. And I'm storing them at the house. So we need to just leave them here until we get closer to time when you're ready to use them and actually build your centerpieces. No. Then it was, I said, so then on top of that, I have to what I would have to do is then tear up my centerpieces. When I'm just going to give people the basket away, my actual centerpiece, because I came up with a design for it. My final design for it anyway involves a basket. My whole point was that we were going to give these centerpieces away at the end of the night. You can take the centerpiece off the table. It don't make me no difference. So I said, well, you know, I'd have to tear up the centerpiece. And I don't want to do all of that. And I'm not going to be liable for anything getting broken that belongs to your alma mater. You would have thought I just coming up with excuses for no reason. Child. So then she says, oh, well, actually, so she sends him back with the goblets. Okay. And she sends him back with a goblet. And I'm like, why did you come back in this house with this goblet? Didn't we already talk about this damn goblet? See, now I'm going to have to cuss her out. Because I told her no. I specifically told her no. And I meant what I said. No. Not only am I not going to use the goblets because they don't go with the idea that I had come up with, that I since changed since then, and actually came up with the final idea. Not only did it not go with either of those ideas, but I said I'm not going to be liable for these damn goblets. And I meant what I said. Because see, you seem to think you're just going to bowl right over me and do what you want. You're not going to do that. So I told him, take that goddamn goblet out of here and take it back to her house. And you tell her I said, don't send no more goblets back to this house. I'm pretty sure he didn't tell her that, but he told her, Mama, we're not going to be liable for these goblets. Because I can just see if something happened to them damn goblets, all of a sudden, well, you need to pay me for X, Y, Z. You got to pay me for this, and this. Ain't nobody got that kind of money. I ain't paying you for no damn goblets. No. And I don't want you involved. You already said no. You didn't want to be involved. Okay? You told me no. So why are you trying to involve yourself? The answer to that comes because now all of a sudden it changed after that. It was, well, you know, the goblets actually, they belong to me, and I just loaned them out to the school for events and things, and I store them in my garage. So I would have to pull them out of there, but you know, you could use them. They actually belong to me. I don't give a damn. No. The answer is no. I don't know how many different ways I can say no. But see, she ain't used to hearing no. Not from somebody's child, and let alone her child. She ain't used to hearing no. So then that was a thing. Okay. Then it was, here she come. Well, you should get a photo booth. No. What we need a photo booth for? I have a photographer. What do I need a photo booth for? No. So, and she kept suggesting things. Then it was, well, you know, y'all need to have a cake because you keep the top layer of the cake for your first wedding anniversary. Bitch, like I don't know that. I know that. Brandon might not know that, but I do. Duh. I've been planning this whole time. Also, I been knew that. When I tell y'all this woman has worked on my nerves, with this wedding. She has tap danced on my last nerve quite frequently. So after that, then it was, I said, no, I done already got the cake stuff taken care of. We going to Sam's to get this cake anyway, and these cupcakes. And that's going to be that. So then, here she come. So it turns out, after she completely showed her ass New Year's Day, and I mean showed out. She worked on my nerves, and she worked on Brandon's nerves even more, which I didn't think was possible. But she completely showed her ass. Like I say, it's been steadily progressing, escalating bullshit behavior. Okay? She finally just worked on his nerves so much that he put her in a timeout. He went no contact and timeout for about, he said, 6 weeks. I wish that were the end of it. I really do. And that she, fixed her shit and stopped acting ridiculous and crazy. But no. She decides, I'm just going to completely lose my marbles, and I'm going to accost him at church and ask him why he not talking to me. Brandon was like, I don't really want to talk to you, mama. And came home. So then she runs to his daddy and tells daddy, who it turns out is now a flying monkey, that, well, he won't talk to me. And I just don't understand why he won't talk to me. It's called he was ignoring you because you're an asshole to him. Not only that, you're an asshole to his wife. And they don't need your foolishness nor your bullshit in a stressful time of me trying to finish school at the time and me doing this wedding stuff. Nobody got time for all of that. Really don't want to deal with you. So this one here runs to the daddy and tells him everything. His enabling ass then sits down with me and Brandon and then says, well, your mother said. I was like, I didn't say this, but I know the look on my face was just like, did your enabling dumbass bother to ask any questions? Did you bother to ask and say, well, this sounds a little bit odd. They ain't mentioned nothing about none of this to me. Why would you think that they... So she ran and told him that I didn't want her involved in the wedding planning. She lied. And I specifically said to him, I said, that is a lie. I asked her first. She was the first person I asked. And no, I didn't ask her for any monetary help. My thing was help me plan so that you can be involved. But good luck with that after that, because I definitely ain't doing that. Thus now that's why you heard about the goblets and the photo booth and the cake. Don't nobody want to be bothered with that. I don't have time for that. I got too much other stuff going on. So then it was, well, that's just how your mother is. And then on top of that, I don't doubt that you've had clashes with her. She's super confrontational. But, sometimes we just have to learn to, deal with that and get along with people. Soon as he said that, I tuned him out after that. What you not finna do is tell me that, one, I gotta sit there and let somebody abuse me, talk to me any kind of way, say all kind of stuff, lie on me. Oh, then there was the phone call that she had with her friends. She called me, bugging me about some dumb shit while I was at work. I didn't answer. She went to voicemail and didn't hang up her phone. And she back there in the background, this is how I know she's mad about not being involved with the wedding planning. And I said, I love how you left out the fact that your little bitty friends that you said no when you were asked. No. You're not finna sit up here and lie on me. No. And you don't get no say-so in who comes to this wedding because you ain't paying for shit. You don't get to invite anybody. They better be your +1 or they don't come. So then he says, I said, what you're not finna do. And I told Brandon, and Brandon and I both agreed about this, and we came up with a plan here. I said, what they're not going to do is sit up here and tell somebody that they got to be abused. And let somebody talk to them any kind of way. And treat them any kind of way. Also, he ain't got to deal with it and hear her mouth. Because that's basically what it was. Then he tried to use Brandon as a meat shield. And me as by extension as a meat shield. And then on top of that, had the nerve to act like I was supposed to set myself on fire to keep his ass warm. I was like, wait a minute. No. And then gonna tell me he didn't like being referred to as my father-in-law. I said, oh, this the hill you choose to die on? That was in February. We were literally supposed to get married in April. We done been together for 7 years. You mean to tell me you picked then to want to say that? And I said, okay, all right. This is what we gonna do. Not only am I dropping the rope, but you'll be lucky if you referred to as anything beyond Brandon's father. You'll be lucky if you get that. She will be lucky if she gets Brandon's mother. Y'all lucky y'all even get names and I don't refer to you as Wicked Witch and Flying Monkey. You very lucky I don't refer to y'all as that. Y'all can both kiss my ass. I do not care. I do not like either one of you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to have no dealings and no interactions with either one of you. Because both of you are full of shit. Because you treat Brandon like he's some little helpless, disabled child. And we ain't trying to do no ableisms here either. Keep that in mind. I'm very respectful of people who have actual disabilities. Okay? To an extent, Brandon has a disability. And that's where this comes into play. They treat him like he is absolutely helpless. He can't do nothing for himself. He can't function. He can't be involved and be productive in society. He cannot contribute to society. It's like we got to hold his hand and we got to do everything for him because Lord knows if we don't, he's going to die. And then we don't have our little slave to do whatever it is we want him to do. Because Mama also sat up here and said that she feels that Brandon takes her for granted. I said, girl, where? You take him for granted. I don't know what plane of reality you live in, but you take him for granted. You better not ever call talking about you need somebody to come do something for you ever again. I don't want to hear nothing out your mouth about having me drive 15 minutes across town to get your shit together. I don't want to hear nothing from you about that. Because you're full of shit. And they're going to have the nerve to sit up here and talk about somebody taking you for granted. Where? You take him for granted. Oh, God. And the worst, there were two things that stood out. One, Brandon's best friend, Kelsey, was murdered in, I think, 10 years ago. So probably a little more than 10 years ago. 2007 or 8, maybe 2009. And it was awful. Absolutely awful. I knew of him. I didn't know him. I was not overtly familiar with him. But we were going to name our son if we'd had children. When we were planning to have children and start trying to get pregnant, we had come up with names early on. And if I'd had a son, I said, well, you know, Kelsey, I think that would be a nice tribute to Kelsey. Okay. We were going to have a table at our reception that had pictures of our deceased family members and people who were important to us at the wedding reception. Kelsey was going to be on this table. So I said, well, we need to ask if we can get a picture of Kelsey for the table. This is when we were going to have the table. We've since decided not to do the table. Okay. So I said, well, we need to get a picture of Kelsey, and we need to ask, and we need to ask very respectfully if we can have a picture of Kelsey. Kelsey's mother is best friends with Brandon's mother. Okay. She comes back, Brandon's mother comes back and says, no. I was like, okay. I'm sorry. Like, okay. Well, she says, and I quote, well, we just don't think that's a very good idea. I just don't even think that you and Kelsey were all that good of friends. This is Brandon's best friend, mind you. Brandon considered him his best friend. Kelsey's not here to defend himself or say otherwise. So you mean to tell me you're going to sit up here and contradict and argue with somebody how they feel about a man that's dead? That's what we doing now? And I said, see, your abusive ass, no. And she sat here in my house and said this to me and Brandon. She was already antagonistic when she came in the door. She was already pissed because she gave us a picture of her parents, Brandon's father's parents, and her and Brandon's father on their wedding day. These people have been divorced for almost 40 years at this point. But we were going to have a picture of his grandparents, both sets, on the table because both sets of his grandparents have passed away. So she hands us this picture, and I said, oh, I didn't realize. I had to look at it because I thought that was her sister who had also passed away. So I said, well, Brandon's aunt. So I said, well, I said, I said, wait a minute, this is you. Well, isn't this a beautiful picture? And it was a stunning, beautiful picture from their wedding day in 1975. Okay, so that's important because the next thing I said was, well, isn't this wonderful? Thank you for giving us this picture. So I said, well, I'm curious. I'm like, well, when was this taken? Because see, I didn't know exactly when they got married. I knew it was before they had Brandon. So, and remember, Daddy has since remarried. Mama has not. So apparently this is a sore subject for her. Because when I said, well, when was this taken? The way she cut her eyes at me and looked at me was like 1975. What? Oh, hold on. I don't like your tone. Watch your tone. Because I don't like your tone. I mean, it was like I asked her, well, why did you get a divorce? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, what? Wait a minute, I just asked when the damn photo was taken, asshole. Like, so right then I knew she's just super antagonistic anyway. She doesn't like coming to our house either. She's only been to date in our house maybe twice. She's been inside the house. She will not come in. She does not agree with the fact that we live together. One, it's a loss of control for her. And two, it's like in her mind, it's throwing it in her face that her son is grown and married. And he ain't married to her. So she can't stand that. She absolutely cannot stand it. Also, she wanted them Bible thumping. Oh, well, no sex before marriage. Girl. Brandon wasn't a virgin before he and I got together. Like, stop it. She doesn't know that. But Brandon was not a virgin. So I don't know why she would even think. First of all, not her business. Oh, God. It was like, come on, guy. And he would tell you, he'd be the first one to tell you he was not a virgin when we got together. He wasn't. Brandon was 35. Like, stop. So, the other thing, keeping with that Bible thumping foolishness, she's one of these holier than thou Christians. You know, the ones that always got to tell you and remind you that they are so holy rolling, and they keep up with the Bible, and they go to church, and they know all their stuff, and they... Lapsed Catholic that I am, I don't care about your church status. I don't care. It's none of my business anyway. So she then says, in that same meeting where she talked about Kelsey, she says, well, who are you? She says, well, you need to have somebody singing at the during the ceremony. No, we don't. We don't need it. However, I have somebody that I would like to have sing. Again, that same lady I told y'all about in the previous one, she sang at almost every funeral we've ever had. And I said, I sure would like to have you sing at my wedding instead of, a funeral in my family. So, and she said that would be fine. Give her a call beforehand, and she will, make sure her schedule is clear, and she would do it. And I will pay her handsomely to do so. So, she was a coworker of my mother's, and absolutely, that woman has a stunning singing voice. I'm like, why do you not have some type of recording career? So I said, well, I had talked to her after my aunt's funeral, and I mentioned this in the previous episode, I think, or episode before that. So I said, yeah, I would love to be able to have her sing. And she said that would be cool. So when Brandon's mother comes talking about she wants somebody, we got to have somebody sing at the wedding, I was like, no, we don't. We don't particularly need somebody to sing. Well, your ceremony, I said, all we need is about 15 minutes. And she said, well, it needs to be longer than 15 minutes. I just feel like that's not a really a Christian ceremony if it's not longer than 15 minutes. I'm like, girl, what that got to do with the price of rice in China? What the hell? That ain't got shit to do with nothing. Are you serious? See, again, trying to insert yourself and put things in after you done already said no. And we have moved on from you. That's what that was about. I was like, girl, no. That's not no. So, I said, yeah, that's going to be a no. So she told me I didn't have Christian values. Basically, she said in her words, she said, well, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. You fucked up right there. That's not an apology. Then she says, well, I just feel like, Brandon's father and I raised him to have, Christian values. You fucked up a second time. And that's strike 2 and 3. Because what you're not finna do is sit up here and imply that not only do I not have any values, that I'm also not Christian. I'm like, and I told Brandon, I said, first of all, bitch, I'm Catholic. Okay? I'm a cradle Catholic. Was born into a Catholic family. Raised in the Catholic faith. Baptized in the Catholic faith. In a black Catholic church. Right here in Columbia. The only black Catholic church in Columbia. Very well known. Okay? I know my history. And I know my Bible. I also happen to be a pretty good person. I'm not sitting up here being judgmental of other people. I don't gossip about folks. I don't stay in folks' business. I mind my black ass business because it don't cost a thing to mind your own business. It don't cost a thing to be kind. It don't cost a thing to not talk about folks and judge folks. It don't cost nothing to do any of that. But what you're not going to do is imply that I'm some type of devil worshiping magical vagina over here that's done seduced your son and just snatched him off your bosom. No, that's not what happened here. Okay? And what you're not going to do is imply that I don't have any type of Christian values and I'm some type of heathen. Because last time I checked, your hypocritical ass is the one that's super judgmental, who's staying being in other folks' business and being nosy. And you lie. So you done broke some commandments there too. Okay? You're also a helicopter parent who spends way too much time worrying about what it is other folks is doing, including your son. Like, just overbearing and ridiculous. So I said, she got one more time. I told Brandon, I said, one more time to insult me. One more time. And on top of that, bitch, you and your religion are an offshoot of mine. Mine is the definite faith. If you're going to go with Christian, we are the definite Christian faith. Everything descended from us. Okay? Everything descended from us. So you're the offshoot. You want to talk about true Christian? Like, shut the fuck up. And always damn trying to Bible thump and tell somebody about how holy you are. Girl, go sit down. You ain't no more holy than anybody else. Hush. Because you certainly are one of them ones, you a show Christian. Because you one of them ones that go to church on Sunday and then backslide on Monday. Like, shut up. So, I told him, I said, she got one more time. One more good time. And that's going to be that. She can kiss my ass. So, I said, So, after she did that, I noticed she came out that time out. She ran running to daddy. Daddy gonna tell him, well, you need to be my eyes and ears and stay on your mama. No, he don't. Mama ain't no damn. He ain't no emotional support animal for his mama. Boy, bye. You are steady out here trying to make somebody be the caretaker of your job. You abdicated 30-something years ago, 40-something years ago. Boy, shut up. You want to keep up with your ex-wife? Keep up with your ex-wife. But Brandon's job is not to do that for you. That ain't his job. Not if I got something to say about it. He is my husband, not hers. So you can go ahead and guess, since we have all these requirements for a Christian ceremony, guess what we're going to do? We're going to have that Bible verse in there about cleave unto your wife. We're going to make sure we have that in there. Oh, and then was running and asking about who the pastor was. Don't make no damn difference who the pastor is. None of your damn business. Nosy ass. I really don't. I don't like condescending. I don't like condescending people. I don't like people who do all type of shit. The last thing I'm going to tell you that she did. The short version is she faked a medical emergency, or I should say she exaggerated. She didn't definitely fake it. We can pretty much be assured that she was exaggerating it. I can't prove that she was faking it. She exaggerated a medical emergency to get Brandon to talk to her after he put her in that timeout. She had him come over to the house. She had folks calling him, talking about, well, we can't get a hold of your mother. We go tearing up the house. I drove him over there because I said I wasn't finna be in here with somebody, possibly having somebody drive over here in a panic state and their mama dead or dying. I didn't know. So we get over there. We find her ass in the closet. Done tore up the house. He the only one that's got a key, mind you. So we go over there, let the neighbors in. We going into a house, tearing up the house, trying to find her. He finds her ass standing in the damn closet, staring off into space. I said, already I'm suspicious, but I didn't say anything. So then, once we get her out into her living room, she's sitting down. This thing is out here holding court, preening like a show animal. Like, oh, look at all these people paying me attention. Because also, if you ain't figured it out yet, she's a narcissist. She's extremely narcissistic. They have issues with attention. And she specifically wanted his attention. She gets his attention and then she don't want it no more. Because she done got all that she needed. And I was like, bitch, you had me drive all the way over here Come to find your ass standing in the closet. And I immediately had some issues. And I knew as soon as I said, because he was sitting there, he was hysterical. Okay? He was out here freaking out because mama might have been dead. He don't know. So he's like, Mama, I was worried about you. I was concerned. And I'm like, God, that's the last thing you needed to tell her. But okay, fine. So she's like, well, Brandon, you need to calm down. And was just now that she done got the attention that she needed, now she don't want to be bothered with him none. So then I said, oh, I see what's going on here. Let me get involved here. So I told Brandon, and I said he knew what the signal was, because we had been long established this signal some time ago. I said, perhaps I can be of assistance. Y'all, when I tell you I said that, and that mask slipped for a brief second, she cut her eyes. She turned from him to me, and she cut her eyes so hard, because she just knew I was fixing to blow up her spot. Because I was fixing to blow up her spot. Because I started to ask questions. Well, what did you have for dinner? Because they said your blood sugar was a little high. Oh, you thought I forgot that you was a diabetic? Oh, you thought I forgot I was a diabetic. So I know what that meant. Oh, your sugar was a little high. So what did you have? Well, why would you eat that? You know that's going to make your sugar high. Okay. How your leg feeling? Your leg all right? Because I know you done had knee problems. So, and I found your phone. It was charging. It had been plugged up. Your last received call was at 5:30. We found you at 7:30. So that means you had to have been in the closet for about 2 hours. So how your leg feeling? Your leg all right? Yo, she just looked at the cat butt face was immediate, and then she just she gave me this death glare because she knew what I was getting at. She knew I was asking questions and I put her ass on the spot because I want you to come on out here and tell me what the real reason is why you had me drive over here. And I said, yeah, I did have dinner on the stove. I had dinner on the stove, and we were kind of studying for a test. So we need to leave in a little bit. But are you all right? You cool? She hates me. She hates me because I am just like her. I have a lot of her personality traits, and she can't stand that. She absolutely cannot stand that. She hates that I got her number and I call her out on her bullshit. And Brandon does not suffer for it either, because I let him know immediately when his mama's doing dumb shit. So it turns out that she actually, according to his daddy, because of course he ran and called his daddy and told him, well, mama, we had to go over to mama's house. I don't understand. She was sick. And then of course he says later on when he talked to his daddy again, he told his daddy, she said that she had talked to him and she had gone to the doctor, and daddy said, oh yeah, she did say she went to the doctor. She did sound stuffed up. She sounded like she said the doctor said she had an undiagnosed ear infection. Really? Oh, you Tweedledee and Tweedledum. That's just dumb. Oh my God. So yes, no, I really, really, really do not care for my mother and father-in-law at all. Once we get married, it's gonna be like, nope. And then both of them very separately once I graduated from school. Neither one of them particularly encouraging or kept up with me being in school, because their son wasn't in school too. So, we don't care about you. Go ask him, oh, well, why didn't you tell us that she graduated from school? Well, why would he tell you? You ain't give a shit all before. So why would you now? Like, stop. And both of you have my number. It ain't like you couldn't have called me. When I tell you I have dropped the rope, drop the rope. Anyway, so I'm finna get up out of here. Thank you for watching. I'll probably be back, like I say, Quarantine Chronicles here. So I got time. I'll be back later. Probably do another episode. I want to thank y'all for watching and listening to me rant for 2 hours. Hopefully things will get better shortly. I'll see you guys later. Deuces.